Hi there, Katie here. It's time for our third video in our series, 6 Skills to Master Before You Learn to Read. Let's talk about. First, let's start with some basics about isolating sounds. So what do I even mean when I say isolating sounds in words? We're talking about hearing the individual sounds either in the beginning, the middle, or the end of a word. And we're only talking about hearing sounds. We're not using any kinds of letters yet. So this is one of those skills that you can do in the dark with no materials because all you need are your ears to hear the sounds. When should you start teaching these skills? This is one of those phonemic awareness skills that is going to be worked on a lot in kindergarten and first grade. When you're working on letter sounds with your preschooler, you're actually working on beginning sounds because when you're practicing ball says B, you're already isolating that first sound. So you can start working on initial sounds, beginning sounds with your preschoolers. The middle and final sounds in words are a little bit tougher, so that's something that you're going to build towards. And why is being able to isolate sound such an important skill? Well, like I just mentioned, it's part of a bigger set of skills called phonemic awareness, which is basically the ability to identify, detect, and manipulate sounds in words. And phonemic awareness skills are the strongest indicator of future reading success. So the earlier you start working on these skills with your children, the more benefit it's going to be to them in the future. These skills, isolating sounds in words, is a building block for future reading and spelling skills. How can you teach and practice isolating sounds in words while you play with your children? I brought along some toys today and we're going to sort them by beginning sound. Now, before I made this video, I literally walked around my house and I thought about what starts with the same sound, and I just gathered a bunch of things. So this doesn't have to be hard and it doesn't have to take a lot of your time preparing. So walk around your house, pick 2 consonant sounds that you're going to start with. I just happened to find a lot of toys that start with B and K. I recommend starting by sorting by beginning sound. So let's do a toy sort together. This is how I would introduce it to my child. Here we have a ball. B-all, ball. Do you hear at the beginning of ball, it says b-b. What does ball start with? And of course you want your child to say b. And once they say that, you're gonna say, great, yes, ball starts with b-b. And then you're gonna go on to another same b sound. So now I have a book. Book also starts with b-b. Book. It starts with the B sound. Do you notice how I'm not saying it starts with B? I'm only saying the sound. That's important. Remember, this is all about sounds, not attaching letters to them yet. So we have a book that starts with B. And then I'm going to go on and I'm going to keep doing that for Barbie and Belle, that you get the picture. Then I'm going to repeat the same process for the other letter that we're sorting with. Oh, look, here we have some carrots. Carrots. Do you hear at the beginning of carrots it says carrots? Carrot starts with a k sound. What sound does carrots start with? And they're going to say k. And then I'm going to repeat that same thing with my car and my cup. And then after I've stretched out all of them and I've told them what every single toy starts with, what every beginning sound is, then I'm going to say, let's put these toys in 2 piles. One pile that starts with B, B, and one's pile that starts with K. And you're going to sort your toys into 2 piles. So we have our cup and our carrots and our car, and over here we have Barbie and the bell, the ball, and the book. And that's it. And then you're done. You've sorted your toys by first sound. Another game that's really fun to play, and you can play it in a lot of different ways, is I Spy. So here I've gathered a cone, and if this is the first time we're doing this activity, then I'm going to do what I just did in the toy sort. I'm going to say, look, we have a cone. Cone, cone. What do you hear at the beginning of cone? I hear a k. What does cone start with? And they'll say k. And I'm going to do that for all of the objects. Today I've chosen 4 things: a cone, a bell, milk, and a hat, you'll notice that they're all different beginning sounds. And I'm gonna say, I spy something that starts with B. And your kid's gonna look and they're gonna say, which of these starts with B? And they're gonna find the bell. And then you might say, I spy something that starts with M. And they're gonna find the milk. Now you can also do this for final sounds. I spy something that ends with T, T, T. Which word ends with T? And it's the hat. Now, if I'm gonna introduce ending sounds at the beginning, instead of going over that cone starts with K, K, I'm gonna say, what's the last sound I hear in cone? So whichever way you're playing, beginning sounds, final sounds, or the really hard middle sound, you want to make sure you model how to find that sound before you play the I Spy game. The next game we're going to play is Who Doesn't Belong. So now we're thinking about putting our words into categories based on the same beginning sound, the same final sound, or the same middle sound. Again, however you're playing. Today we're playing Who Doesn't Belong with the final sound. So again, before I start playing the game, I'm going to go through my talk and look at and identify and isolate the ending sound of each of these objects. And then I'm going to look at my things and say, one of these doesn't belong. Who doesn't belong here? Well, we have book, milk, and pig. Pig. Who doesn't belong? And hopefully your kids will be able to find that pig ends with something different. It ends with the G sound. And you say, great job. And then you can play again with a different set of objects. When you're first starting out, I suggest that you have just 3 objects here. So 2 that are the same ending and 1 that's different. You always want to just have 1 that's different, but keeping it simple with a small number will help your child to have a lot of success in this game. The bridge game is a great way to make cleaning up toys a game. I love to make cleanup time a game because it makes it go faster and it encourages my girls to put away all of their toys. Well, now you can play the bridge game during cleanup time to also practice isolating your sounds. The bridge game really focuses on the end of the word. Okay, let's practice how these words end. Let's listen for their ending sound. Here we have our egg, egg. What do you hear at the end of egg? I hear the G sound. That's right. Let's put the egg away and it's gone. It's put away. And then you can say we have a car, car. What do you hear at the end of car? And you can hear that sound, car. I'm not going to throw this because it's harder. You could do that for all of your toys, listening for sounds at the end of the words as you're putting them away into the toy bins. Now, as I mentioned earlier, sometimes it can be hard to gather toys that have the same middle sound. So for practicing isolating middle sounds, I like a good old-fashioned picture sort. With this card sort, I'm going to do the same practice of stretching out the words to help my child hear that middle sound, and I'm going to emphasize that middle sound as much as I possibly can. So here we've got 2 groups of cards here, and they're all mixed up here, and we're going to start by sorting them into 2 groups. And I may even tell my child, depending where we are in the practice, that we're going to be listening for some ah sounds in the middle of words, and we're going to be listening for some I sounds in the middle of a word. Now, if you've been practicing this a lot, then you probably don't need to tell them ahead of time what they're going to be sorting by. But if it's the first time you're sorting by middle sounds, definitely support them by giving them the 2 groups they're looking for. So here we have a bat, b-a-t. So that's going to go in my first group. Then we have a fin on this fish, in. And that's going to go in a different group because fin doesn't sound like b-a-t. They have 2 different sounds. And then you're going to continue. K-a-t also has an a, and w-i-ig has a I. And you'll sort all of your picture cards until you get to the end when you have 2 groups. When you finish the sort, I would go back through and have them double check. Do all of these words have the ah? Do all of these words have the I? If they do, then great job, you're done. As your children get better and better at listening for that middle sound, you can add a 3rd or 4th group to sort by. If you're using picture cards to sort beginning or final sounds, you can start again with 2 groups and then add to 3 or 4 groups to make it more challenging for them as they are improving and strengthening this skill. That's it. That's 5 interactive and fun ways for you and your children to practice isolating sounds in words. I would love to connect with you, so please leave some comments for me, ask me questions about isolating sounds, or give me some future video ideas, things that you need more information, things that you need to help support your children learning to read at home. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel, Happy Reading with Katie. Click the little bell there so that you get a notification. New videos come out every Thursday, and you don't want to miss what's coming next in the 6 skills to master before reading. Until next time, happy reading.